So how did the Giants win? They got a 50-yard pass completion for a touchdown, which doesn't count as a first down, and a 66-yard pick six. In 1976, Muhammad Ali beats Ken Norton in 15 rounds for the heavyweight boxing title. And in 1986, tight end Brian Foster of Rhode Island catches an NCAA record of 18 passes for 327 yards. Quite the tight end. That's This Week in Sports History. I'm JP.
It's time for another edition of Tomahawk Talk. I'm Chad Brilliante as we take a look into Florida State football. Well, the Noles had another tough outing, 52-10 loss to their rival Miami. Coach Mike Norvell wasn't there, but he did speak to the media after the game.
Every person a part of this team, every coach, staff, every player, we understand that there's great strides that need to be made, and they need to be made quickly. It's one of the things that we've emphasized, that we have to be able to carry over the work from practice into the game and maintain that consistency throughout the course of a 60-minute contest, and continuing to focus on our discipline, our details, our communication, and then we've got to go out there, and when the opportunity presents itself, we've got to make the play and truly seize the moment that we have.
The 0-2 Noles should be able to pick up their first victory as they take on Jacksonville State this Saturday at 3 o'clock, that you can catch on News Radio 92.3, our sister station. This has been another edition of Tomahawk Talk.
Your Alabama Roll Tide update. I'm JP. Nick Saban has never lost a season opener while coaching Alabama. Saban's second-ranked Crimson Tide looked just fine as they began their SEC-only schedule on Saturday night. Mac Jones threw for 249 yards and 2 scores in less than 3 quarters of work. Jalen Waddle and Najee Harris had dynamic performances on offense, helping Alabama roll to a 38-19 victory over the rebuilding Tigers. Alabama looks to move to 2-0 this week as they will play host to Jimbo Fisher and the Texas A&M Aggies at 2:30 on CBS.
Here are the ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM contest rules. You can win one prize per household per contest in any 30-day period, unless specified by individual contest rules. All prizes are non-transferable, non-redeemable for cash, or exchangeable for any other contest prize. Prizes must be redeemed within a 30-day period of winning and must be 18 years of age or older to win. For a complete list of rules, visit ESPNpensacola.com.
Your ridiculous facts, I'm JP. The official length of a marathon was defined as 26,219 miles because it was exactly the length of the course at the Olympic Games in London in 1908. Doesn't really matter for me because I couldn't do it anyway. And since 1896, soccer fields in Germany have to be free of trees. Maybe I'm wrong here, but doesn't this seem like a here's your sign moment? Either way, that's your ridiculous facts. I'm JP.
Hear ye, hear ye. I bringeth thee a message from... a message from the king and his new trumpeter, Stephen. The king wishes me to convey his favor to thine team and thine tailgate. Not yet. He invites thee to let the Bud Light flow forth. And he also wishes me to tell thee that he toasts thee. Waiteth until the end, Stephen! With game day's favorite light lager and the slogan of his kingdom... Oh! Dilly dilly! Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
There's only one natural ingredient that could instantly shift your mood, help you focus, lower stress, and boost your self-confidence. It's available everywhere, works immediately, is affordable, and can change the quality of your life forever. It's called playing music.
Side effects include restless foot syndrome, spontaneous undulation, and can be highly contagious. If a smile doesn't last for more than 4 hours, consult your nearest music store.
Just play. Your prescription to a better life. Brought to you by the NAM Foundation.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
The following has been produced by Talk Football LLC. Former Florida Gators quarterback, NFL quarterback, and NFL head coach. Coach K. Stevenson has a resume second to none, and now he's sharing his insider information with you. Talk Football with Coach K starts right now on ESPN Pensacola.
Welcome in to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL head coach K. Stevenson on this Thursday afternoon. Appreciate everybody joining us here. We are working to get Coach on the line with us as having a little bit of difficulty, but you know what? Hey, that's a part of it in 2020 with COVID-19, everything else going along. Hey, you know what? You'll take it day by day, and little problems like this, it is what it is. So we'll work through it. We'll get him on the line here in just a few minutes. Look, while I have some time, as I always start off the show, we'll continue to do so, thanking our first responders and healthcare workers this time. We thank those folks so much for what they do day in and day out. Look, I know that there's obviously a lot of unrest in our country with everything going on, you know, whatever you want to call it. I mean, there's a lot of politics and everything involved, and I want to make this very clear. We try to keep politics out of this show. Okay, this is sports, and if you're one that believes politics needs to be in sports, that's fine. That's okay. And first off, we live in the greatest country in the entire world. I don't care what anybody else says. I'll make that very clear. And you don't believe it, go look at these other countries. But hey, we just want to make it clear we support good people, great people. We don't support evil people. And we support our first responders and healthcare workers. We have great police officers, firefighters, EMT personnel, nurses, doctors. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. We want to make that very, very clear. And we're so gracious to live in a community where we have so many great people. I mean, look, I know we're here to talk about sports, but those folks do deserve the recognition that they need and that they get. And living in a military town, I know we have a lot of current military and former military. So with that being the case, look, we're just so appreciative of them. And, you know, we thank them so much for their service, and we thank everybody. And we thank you for tuning in. But, look, got Coach on the line. So, Coach, how are you doing on this Thursday afternoon, my friend?
I'm doing well. As usual, I send my thanks as you do each and every day, and appreciate that. Again, wish we had time. One day we need to just devote a whole program to getting into depth on what all these people do for us and for our community.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? There's I meet people all the time that are these first responders, these healthcare workers, and I have friends and family that are on the side, and they love listening to the show. They appreciate the thanks. And one thing they said is, obviously, you know what? People forget how much and how far a kind word truly goes. People think you have to physically do something. No, it's just saying thank you, and thank you for your service, and being appreciative goes a long way. And I think people forget that. That's why, hey, when you're out and about, look, just being a good person, you know what, is enough. I think it's very important, and it's okay. So, Coach, I know we have a ton to get to today. Obviously, a little bit of time. We're going to break down the NFL games coming up as we have one tonight. May not be the sexiest pick, you know, when you're talking about a game, but you know what? Neither was Miami and Jacksonville, but, hey, it's football. And I tell you what, we'll take it. And as tonight, the Denver Broncos will take on the New York Jets. And for Adam Gase, he better win this dang football game. That's all I'm going to say. So moving on here, Coach, for our first story. Look, the NFL came out and said the Steelers and Titans, They had originally said that they were going to play either Monday or Tuesday. Now, because of a couple more tests, positive tests, on the Titans side. Now, the Vikings have been clean this entire time, and in fact, the Vikings opened up their facility this morning to players to get back to normal, to get ready for their game against Houston. But they will not play Week 4, so looks like they may try to move it to maybe that bye week for Tennessee, which would mean Tennessee and the Steelers would play Week 7. Therefore, Ravens and Steelers, who are supposed to play Week 7, they both have Week 8 byes, would move back to Week 8. Who knows what's going to happen? That's kind of where we're at this point this morning. But, Coach, other than that, I mean, it seems like the people on the Titans that did catch the virus are doing okay. So, hey, you know what? We'll take positives. And I think, in all honesty, I think this was a good move by the NFL and both teams here to go ahead and not even try to push forward. Let's get these guys healthy. That's the most important thing, and we'll move on.
Yeah, I think it's a good move. And keep in mind, Tennessee's had no practice time this week for a very difficult opponent. So, it's a good move, and they have the flexibility to move things around. They'll get it done.
Yeah, they'll get it done. The NFL, once again, I just think that was a great move. I mean, let's not try to push it. Let's get these guys back, get them some practice. And we don't want guys getting hurt either. I mean, outside of COVID-19, it's very important to get your practice time and get your rest and be able to prepare for a team. This is pro football, all right? This is, no offense, it's not high school or this is not your peewee team or anything like this. These are professionals, and these are grown men. So, moving on, Coach, how about this? Some good news in our area here. Seattle Seahawks sign the ex-Packers and Browns defensive back Demarius Randall. Well, if you don't know Demarius Randall, the young man, much like you, Coach, went on to – he's played in the NFL for some time and graduated from Pensacola High School. And, boy, he was on all those state championship teams, earning all-state recognition as a senior. The Class 3A title in 2009 when the Tigers outscored their opponents 95-13 in the postseason. Great athlete overall. I mean, baseball, track, I mean, everything. And, Coach, it's always good to see some of our former high school athletes be able to go on to the next level. But for Demarius Randall, he's actually had some pretty darn good stints, especially when he was with the Packers for a while and the Browns. But, Coach, it's just that pedigree coming out of Pensacola High School, and you know all about it. You guys, Coach, had some great athletes come out of there. But, once again, it's always great to see someone come from your high school, much less our area.
Oh, you bet. We're happy for him, and everybody's pulling for him. And listen, it's another shot, and hopefully he gets that shot on the field with the active roster, and I'm sure he'll do a good job when he gets on the field.
Yeah, he is quite the gamer, and you know what? Him being on the practice squad right now, it's due to some injuries that the Seahawks have had. From what I've read, he's going to be on the practice squad for a week, and then maybe next week they're going to bump him to the active roster. So that goes with it. We understand that. He hasn't been on the team, so there you go. So, hey, Demarius Randall, hats off. I've met him a couple times. Fantastic. And I haven't met a person that does not like Demarius Randall either. Awesome man right there. But, Coach, the XFL. I hadn't talked about the XFL in a little while. Well, look, some sombering news, however you want to take it. I think, you know what, I'll take as an excitement. I mean, Dwayne, everybody knows him. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, as most people know him, tweeted out that the XFL plans to return in 2022. He made the statement basically with everything going on for the love of football and the safety of the players and fans, we're just going to come back in 2022. We're not going to try to rush this thing. We're going to do it right, and we're going to do it where we can obviously be able to do this for quite some time. Coach, you know what? I think it's a good move. I think, we wanted XFL to come out in 2021. I get it. A lot of moving pieces, a lot of uncertainty right now with COVID-19 and things like that. You're going to have be able to have fans, and you want to be able to have it on TV, and you want to do this right because we saw the XFL with COVID-19 go down, which was unfortunate because it was pretty darn exciting to watch, believe it or not. But, Coach, when you look at this, I think ultimately this is the right move. And you know what? Hey, XFL is coming in 2022.
Yeah, there's no doubt it's a good move. And when you stop and think about it, they really had no choice, JP. They're going to be much, much more dependent on ticket sales and ancillary sales like concessions and novelties and, shirts and hats and all the other things, parking. They're going to be looking for every penny they can get. it's not like the National Football League, where that only makes up about 22-23% of their income, and the rest is on television. They're going to have some television revenue, but with the recent record of the XFL, that's going to be a very conservative figure, I'm sure. And so they're going to be looking for every penny they can get, and they really need the attendance. It's too early right now to make those commitments that you would have to have financially. So they obviously did the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we said, you know what, the XFL was actually pretty intriguing. And with everything going on, rosters being cut, things like this, you'd have some exciting players. But I think for 2022, you're right. Look, there's just too much uncertainty, so we're going to move on. 2022 is looking like when we'll see the XFL again. And we'll be excited when it comes around. We always love more football. And, Coach, you've made it clear that there is room for a spring league. And you know what? It was a compliment to the NFL. We've seen a lot of those XFL guys be able to go on and make NFL rosters. So that's awesome. But moving on here, some SEC news real quick. The SEC rules on intra-conference transfers, including Cade Mays and Joey Gatewood. If you don't know Cade Mays, by the way, this is big. If you're a not Tennessee Titan fan, nope, not different, a little bit different, but Tennessee Volunteer fan, you got to love this. Now, Cade Mays was a young man from Georgia, played on the offensive line at Georgia, great starter for him, transferred, wanted to go back to his hometown there in Knoxville for Tennessee. And, well, he's been a little bit of a holdup, and there's been a lot of uncertainty going on right now. But Greg Sankey issued that he could play immediately. He was eligible immediately, as well as, look, a name I think we forgot about, Joey Gatewood, the former quarterback at Auburn right there, the Auburn transfer that went to Kentucky. Well, Mark Stoops was quick to announce that he was eligible to play immediately for the Wildcats. So, Coach, look, Greg Sankey, I think, has done a great job, by the way, not even talking about this, just everything he's gotten to get to the season at this point, to be a leader for college football. I don't care what anybody says. He's basically been the leader for college football because people have followed suit, with what he's done. And not just him, obviously. There's a lot of people that are involved with this. But I think it's good, the young men that, look, I'm not for the freestanding transfer, like, hey, you know what, on a whim, here you go. There's got to be some kind of, consideration. But you know what, I think it's good for both these players right here. They've been waiting since basically January to find out if they're going to be eligible. But now I think this is a tremendous pickup for Tennessee because at this point they need help on that offensive line. They need help at that quarterback position. But Cade Mays is a young man that started for the Georgia Bulldogs, and we know how good that offensive line was.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a huge, huge pickup for Tennessee. I think he's a quality offensive lineman in the Southeastern Conference. So, my goodness, those people don't grow on trees. They're hard to find. So that's a huge pickup for them. And you're right, they need to shore up their protection there as well. We're just not sure about Gatewood, for sure. What impact he's going to have at Kentucky. It's a good situation that they bring him in there because if nothing else, they've increased the depth and the quality of their quarterback room. So and that's the only way we can look at it right now. But my guess is he's going to help them. But I know Tennessee got some help.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Tennessee, you know what, they pulled out the win against South Carolina. This is their rebound year. Everybody's expecting them to make a little bit of a run, not maybe win the SEC. We're not saying that yet. But what Jeremy Pruitt's doing looks like so far so good. You got by South Carolina, which could have been ugly, but better way than starting the season the way you did last year. Obviously, with Joey Gatewood, you're right. I think we'll find out. But Terry Wilson's the quarterback there at this moment. But it does add depth. We'll find out. I'm sure they'll find ways to implement him. But nonetheless, hey, good moves for Kentucky and Tennessee. Real quick here, Coach, before we go to break, the proposal to expand the college football playoff, Pac-12 Commissioner Larry Scott had suggested that they go to 8 teams this season, but the College Football Playoff Management Committee did not approve the idea during Wednesday's meeting. Executive Director Bill Hancock basically said, look, we're not going to expand this season. We're not going to do any kind of significant changes. With everything going on right now, I just don't think this is a good time. So, Coach, agree or disagree that the College Football Playoff will not be expanded?
Oh, I agree with all that's going on with the scheduling and the limited number of games by some conferences. There's a lot of political gerrymandering really going on right now. trying to get an advantage for the Big Ten and the Pac-12 out there. But at this point, I think it's a good decision. They've got to take care of business as is right now.
Hey, you know what? Nothing surprises me. If they would have said 8 teams, 16 teams, 4 teams, 2 teams, you know what? To be honest with you, I love the college football playoff. It's better than the BCS system we had. I hated the BCS system. But you know what? It is what it is. I'm just happy we have football back. So, and at this point, too, remember to be eligible for bowl games this year, there is no eligibility criteria, which is shameful. I get it, but it's shameful. I mean, it's just pathetic in my. So look, you could have a team win 2 ball games and go to a bowl game, but I'm not getting into that. We've got plenty of other stuff to talk about. So real quick, the first college football playoff selection committee ranking. When they pull out the rankings, typically it's in October. They bumped it back another week to November 24th. Now remember, they said they weren't going to announce until November 17th. Basically, what the criteria was to make the college football playoff. Now, I think, once again, I said this when it happened, that I believe they were doing this. That way they can find out how many games that teams like Ohio State, who were supposed to play 8, in the Pac-12, who are supposed to play 7, and stuff like this, how many games they can get in. Because, remember, with the Big Ten and the Pac-12, we need to throw this out there for folks. There is no wiggle room. If you miss a game, that game will not be made up. There's no time. And also, in the Big Ten, the protocols are, if you miss a game, if you come down with and test positive for COVID, you're out for 21 days. That's 3 weeks. So if you have a team outbreak, that's 3 weeks. So that could be dire, especially for teams like Ohio State that have a great, great chance of making the college football playoff and maybe even a national championship. But once again, we'll see it. But the college football playoff selection committee said that they are going to move their first committee ranking to November 24th. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be breaking down the NFL scores for Week 4. And you know what? We'll talk about tonight's game and the quarterback, which I almost guarantee you don't know this young man, but we're going to give you a little rundown on Mr. Brett Rippon, the quarterback for the Denver Broncos tonight. All that and more coming back right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
What'd you do this time, Brad?
I'm in the doghouse after my hunting trip last weekend.
Yeah, I was too. I blew off our date.
How'd you get out of the doghouse?
Stillwater's Day and Medical Spa. I got her a gift card. It took 3 minutes at swmedspa.com. She booked it this Saturday.
Saturday? So 9 holes then?
Tee time's at 8.
To enjoy a hassle-free guys weekend, treat her to a gift card from Stillwater's Day and Medical Spa. Follow Stillwater's on Facebook or Instagram to enter contests and win great prizes. Or visit swmedspa.com.
While you can't believe everything on social media these days, you can believe it's possible to start a new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months from the comfort of your own home, even if you have zero computer experience. Instead of waiting to see what happens when life gets back to normal, take control of your future now. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Live online classes meet just twice a week. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
The United States Postal Service has been around since 1775, and since then, you can rely on the Postal Service to make sure what matters to you gets to your mailbox. You'd think you couldn't improve on that. But now, with informed delivery notifications, you'll know when those important packages and letters are coming to your mailbox, with an email every morning telling you what's on the way. It's the reliability of the United States Postal Service matched with the technology of today. It's time to get peace of mind. Sign up now for free at informeddelivery.com. Informed Delivery. If it's in the mail, it's in your email.
Here's your quick Week 5 top 25 in college football. At number 1 is the Clemson Tigers, followed by Alabama at 2, Florida at 3, and Georgia 4. Notre Dame checks in at number 5 with Ohio State 6, Auburn 7, Miami 8, and Texas number 9. Penn State is 10 with UCF 11, North Carolina 12, Texas A&M, and Oregon 13 and 14. Cincinnati at 15, Mississippi State 16, Oklahoma State 17, with Oklahoma, Wisconsin, LSU 18, 19, and 20. Tennessee is 21 with BYU at 22, Michigan 23, Pittsburgh 24, and Memphis 25.
Hey, this is Jay Williams. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL head coach Kay Stevenson on this Thursday afternoon. Hope you're having a great Thursday. Beautiful weather outside. No reason you shouldn't be. So, hey, we're talking some football here. And obviously, Coach, getting ready for tonight's NFL matchup. And it's not the best matchup, but you know what? It's football. And I think after what's, happened the past few months here, 6 months, we'll take it. And obviously, we are talking about tonight's game between the Denver Broncos at the New York Jets. Now, for the Jets, we'll get into all that in just a moment. It's a rough ride. But, hey, you know what? There's positivity. You're actually a favorite in tonight's game. But before we get to that, Coach, the Denver Broncos quarterback. Now, Drew Lock is obviously injured. He is not going to be playing for quite some time here. Jeff Driscoll has been a guy that stepped in. But now it's Brett Rippon. Now, who the heck is Brett Rippon? Well, that's understandable. Let me go ahead and give you a quick rundown. Now, he is a young man that was a 4-year starter at Boise State. Now, he has an NFL name, an athletic lineage, a combination of accuracy. He has some experience. He's a great play caller at the line. I love it. If you go back and you watch his film, he's a guy that can read coverages. Now, that was playing in college. This is a little bit different. This is a young man that, of course, his last time he started a game was in 2018 for the Boise State Broncos. Went undrafted. A lot of people thought that he was maybe a 6th-round pick type guy. Just because of the mental aspect and his IQ for football. But look, he can throw the football around. A lot of people believe maybe he was a diamond in the rough, and the fact that the Broncos picked him up as an undrafted free agent, they thought was quite the steal. So moving on here, I'm not going to bore you too much with that, give you a couple stats. Now, he is a heck of a player, like I said. Ranked second all-time at Boise State in passing yards with almost 14,000, passing touchdowns, completions, and attempts. This is a young man that was a heck of a quarterback. And look, you can say what you want about Boise State. They've produced some pretty good players in the past. They've done a pretty good job out there on that blue turf. So with that being said, jumping into this game, Coach, the Broncos are 0-3. Obviously, they've struggled a little bit offensively. That's why Brett Rippon is now stepping in here, maybe giving them a spark. And, hey, great team to start against because the Jets have been abysmal. I mean, it's bad. Adam Gase, I hate to say in Week 4 it's a must-win, but I think it is a must-win for his job. I just think there's so much pressure going on here, and I don't know, Coach. I put all that over to you. You understand more than anybody. But, Coach, Sam Darnold has not looked good. You know what? For the Jets, nothing. Le'Veon Bell's out until maybe Week 5, so they're not even going to have their star running back out there. Not that he's done that well, but still, it's another weapon that's now gone. Coach, when you look at Denver, I feel like this is a big tight end game when you got a quarterback stepping in for his first start. And the Jets are a 1.5-point favorite at home, but I just don't see him winning it. I mean, I know even with a quarterback like Brett Rippon, I'm not excited out there. You hope to get a feel-good story. But, Coach, I feel like the Broncos are going to win this one. It's going to be close. And I just think for Adam Gase, this may be the end of the line.
Well, I think you're right on Adam Gase. I think they have to win it. It's going to be the end of the line. But, I really believe that this is going to be a game as far as I'm concerned, who outdogs the other. which is the worst team, not which is the best. Unfortunately, neither team is in a position to play NFL football the way we're used to seeing it played. It's just Denver has a chance with their defense if Chubb is able to play. I'm not sure what his status is, but if they do have the defense in a position to put some pressure on the quarterback, they're going to have a chance to do it because the Jets can't pick up anybody. So, you got to look at that being the one factor I think that would override on behalf of the Denver football team. But I really think you got a home field advantage. You don't have to travel. There's an advantage with that, even though the fans aren't in the stands. It's sleeping in your own bed and not having to travel with the planes and the hotels and the restaurants and all that. So you've got to give a slight edge to the Jets here, and I would have to say that if the Jets are going to win one, it's got to be now. Otherwise, they're going to have a total changeover.
Yeah, it's this is not one that if you're a Jets player, Jets coach, whatever, you can afford to lose, period, because the season does not get easier. And there's a lot of unrest right now in the locker room, outside the locker room, everywhere. When they're having fans obviously standing out and chanting outside the stadiums, fire Adam Gase, it's just not a good look. People are on a different page. And even though the Jets have backed Adam Gase, I don't think it matters at this point. You got to go win football games. That's what matters. So, look, no better time. You're on national television. This is a big game for the Jets. For the Broncos, I don't think, it is a big game. You're 0-3, but it's more important to me for the Jets for the sake of that franchise right now. They need this big time. But moving on, the Indianapolis Colts at the Chicago Bears, coach. Look, the Colts, obviously that blip week 1 against the Jacksonville Jaguars, they've looked good outside of that. And the Bears are 3-0, barely. But you know what? It doesn't matter. You're 3-0, and that's what matters when you're talking about the quarterback situation. Nick Foles is now the quarterback. He's been named the starter. He came in and threw 3 fourth-quarter touchdown passes to move them to 3-0. Now Trubisky is the backup. We'll see what happens with that, with Foles and everything going on. But Nick Foles has been named the starter. Phillip Rivers, 72 of 92 for 794 yards. 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. You know what? He's thrown the football very well, but I think this is a football team, obviously we've seen this, that wants to run the ball behind that big, vaunted offensive line. They're good. That is a good offensive line. The defense is playing off that offense. Really exciting. But when I look at the Bears, coach, I don't know. You know what? I'm going to pick the Colts in this one. I know that the Colts are a 2.5-point favorite. Once again, look, we got to see Jonathan Taylor. He is now toting the rock with an injury right there to Nyheim Hines. They have so many weapons. Michael Pittman Jr. will not play in this game. But when you look at the Bears, they won't. It looks like they may be without Khalil Mack at linebacker. And to me, that is a difference maker on this big defense. But, Coach, I'm going to stick with Frank Wright and the Colts on this one. Probably, you know what, give me a touchdown.
Well, you know where I'm going. The Colts are my dark horse team, and I think the Chicago Bears have been very fortunate. They had the situation where they won a ball game based on a drop pass, and it's just been they've been very fortunate, and they're not settled on the quarterback. Foles is he might have as bad a game as he had a good game the last game, or he may get injured. He's just not a guy that I think you can count on. I like Foles, and I think he does a good job most of the time. But I would take Phillip Rivers 10-1, no question in my mind about that. Plus, I think the Colts have a better all-around football team, and a lot of credit goes to Frank Wright. And that's not just a prejudicial statement because Frank is a friend of mine. I drafted him, but he's a heck of a good football coach. So I take Colts all the way.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. And, Coach, moving on here, look, to me, I'm excited to see Joe Burrow was so close last week, and I had said that he was going to get his first win against the Eagles. They ended up tying. But when you look at Joe Burrow, obviously with the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're at home. This is the perfect game, obviously, for Joe Burrow to go out and show out. The Jags defense hasn't been great, hasn't been horrible, but hasn't been very good. Gardner Minshew, the story we talked about, them upsetting the Colts in Week 1. Hey, we were all excited, and then they just floundered on Thursday Night Football against the Dolphins. So, look, we knew this Jags team has a depleted roster. They traded away a lot of their talented guys. They got a bunch of guys out there that want to play football. I will say that. Looks like they may be getting DJ Chark back at wide receiver, but outside of that, there's just a bunch of injuries. Brandon Linder at center, A.J. McCann at guard, in corner, Brandon Watson. Even your place kicker is questionable at this point. When I look at this, Coach, the Cincinnati Bengals are a 3-point favorite. I think this is Joe Burrow gets his first win here at home. No better than, the hometown kid lives a couple hours away from Cincinnati in front of maybe his family. I'm not sure the whole fan situation there, but regardless, you know what? Back home, Joe Burrow, give me the Bengals here, Coach, and give me the Bengals big.
Oh, I agree. Listen, he's looked good in every football game he's played. He's only played 3 in the National Football League, and beginning with Game 1, the first game he ever played, he looked like a real pro, an all-pro. No, I think he's made progress now to the point that they had a tie with the Philadelphia Eagle team last week, and now they come on with in this football game against Jacksonville, and I'm going to take Cincinnati as well. And Burrow has another great game.
Yeah, Burrow has been fantastic. I mean, he has been and remember, here's the key for Cincinnati, and I'm not saying they have to truly worry about it too much, but he was hit 15 times last week and sacked 8 times. That cannot happen to your franchise quarterback, especially when you're talking about a young man that is just as dynamic as he is. So that for Cincinnati, you got to find some way to be able to protect that young man. But moving on, Coach, the Cleveland Browns and the Dallas Cowboys. For the Cowboys, you know what? They're an onside kick away from being 0-3, but it doesn't matter. They're 1-2, and technically they're right there in the hunt in that division, tied for first with the Washington football team. So very poor division. Obviously, with the Eagles 0-2-1 at this point, the Giants are just non-existent at this moment. But anyway, Prescott has played well. 96 of 143. He's thrown for 1,100 yards. But once again, Coach, they got to find ways to beat teams that are above 500. And the Cleveland Browns are 2-1. Baker Mayfield, I think they're starting to find a little bit of an identity in that offense. They're a running offense, and Baker passes off of that run game because they have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, 2 fantastic running backs that are very versatile. And the offensive line, obviously they've had problems in that offensive line. They may be without Jack Conklin this week, but I don't think it truly matters. This is a team that, look, the Cowboys' defense has been porous, just pathetic. I'm sorry, but they may be without DeMarcus Lawrence on that defensive line. And Tyron Smith at the tackle position may be missing this week as well for the Cowboys. But, Coach, you know what? I know when you look at the rosters here, you look and say, well, the Cowboys' offense is really good. How's anybody going to stop them? I just think it's the defense that cost them again this week. And you know what? Guys, it's tough. Dallas is a 4.5-point favorite, but I'm going to have to call Cleveland with the upset.
I think that's a good call, but quite frankly, I'm going to have to. I believe Dallas will win it. I'd like to see Cleveland win it, but I think I'd have to take Dallas. They're just it's only a matter of time before they start winning football games.
Yeah, I think, look, the defense they've got to figure that out. I think they will. And once again, there's a possibility, maybe in less, but 7-9 wins that division this year when we were complaining about 8-8 or 9-7. So that's just the reality of how that division is playing out so far. But look, we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue to break down the games in the NFL in Week 4. Remember, the Tennessee Titans and the Pittsburgh Steelers will not play Week 4. They have not made the announcement of when they are going to make that game up, but not going to happen. When we come back, we'll talk about Saints, Lions, Seahawks, Dolphins, Bucks and Chargers, and more. Oh my, right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, Stop the wrecks.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro Shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Highway 29 in Car City.
What's up, Chad here from the Sports Drive. Another great week to be a sports fan. NBA Finals, Heat vs. Lakers, MLB playoffs, full slate of high school football games. Seminole fans now just waiting for basketball season.
Can't be serious, man.
Gators and Crimson Tide look good.
Go Gator.
Roll Tide. And KJ Costello woke up this morning saying, man, it's good to play for Mike Leach.
It's not whether you win or lose. The team that wins is the one that has the most fun.
And we'll still try to figure out why Dan Quinn and Adam Gase still have a job.
You're fired.
Sports Drive, 5 to 7 on ESPN Pensacola.
DraftKings, the leader in one-day fantasy sports, has a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes up for grabs. Every run, pass, and catch means more with DraftKings. It's simple. Just pick your lineup, stay under the salary cap, and see how your team stacks up against the competition. Download the DraftKings app and use code GREENIE. For a limited time, new users can get a free shot at millions of dollars in prizes this week. That's code GREENIE. Only at DraftKings. Make it rain. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. Last week is in the books. Now it's time to review the tape and prepare for this week. Get in on all of the action with DraftKings, the leader in one-day fantasy sports. And this week, DraftKings has a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes up for grabs. Draft your lineup and feel the sweat like never before. Every run, pass, and catch means more with DraftKings. It's simple. Just pick your lineup, stay under the salary cap, and see how your team stacks up against the competition. Nothing adds to the excitement of watching the game quite like having a shot at millions of dollars in prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use code GREENIE. For a limited time, new users can get a free shot at millions of dollars in prizes this week. Don't miss out on the Week 4 action. Enter code GREENIE to get a free shot at millions of dollars in prizes with your first deposit. That's code GREENIE. Only at DraftKings. Make it rain. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Hey, this is Chad Brillante from the Afternoon Sports Drive, and you're listening to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL head coach Kay Stevenson on this Thursday afternoon. Appreciate you guys joining us. Hope you're doing well during this time. We're going to jump right back into this. Talking about Week 4 in the NFL. And, boy, in the NFL, it's been quite the roller coaster ride for some teams. And, look, if your team's 0-3 or 0-2-1 or whatever it is, hang on. You know what? There's still time, especially if you're, in the division that 7-9 is going to win it. But moving on here, Coach, the New Orleans Saints. We talked a little bit about them. Should be a little panic for the Saints. I think, obviously, when you talk about the Tampa Bay Bucks, they're getting better and better and better. The Falcons, well, you know what? They're 0-3. And the Panthers, just not a very good football team, but finally got that win right there to move on. But, Coach, New Orleans is a 4-point favorite in this game. As the Saints travel to Detroit to take on the Lions. The Lions with a little bit of a surprising win last week against the Arizona Cardinals. I think Matthew Stafford, you know what, he's just good. He's continued to perform. The offense looks good. It's always been the defense that's been questioned. And I saw a stat the other day, it was actually Monday, that ever since this team has went more to a zone look, the defense has played so much better. And you know what, they got out of that man-to-man. They just apparently aren't built to run man-to-man all the time. And at the beginning of the season, they were running man-to-man coverage 80% of the time. They are now running it almost 50-50 zone to man. Now, look, there's a lot of things, and certain teams match up better in certain situations. But you know what? It worked out against the Arizona Cardinals as they pulled out the win 26-23. But, Coach, once again, I think this is look, Michael Thomas is questionable. They've got some guys like Jared Cook at tight end that are questionable. But outside of that, Drew Brees, you know what? He's still Drew Brees. I think this team is still good. Alvin Kamara said, look, we're going to be fine. Everybody just calm down. Once we start winning again, everybody's going to shut up about us. And you know what? I get it, and I'm cool with him saying that, but you got to go out and perform on the field. But, Coach, do you see obviously, like I said, New Orleans is a 4-point favorite in this game. Do you see the Lions pulling the upset?
You know what I do see? I think there's a distinct possibility, excuse me, that the Lions win this football game. But, when you put it all together, JP, the Lions are playing better defensively, which was a real key. That's not all because of zone or man coverage. There are times when you have to play man, and there are times when you are better suited to play zone. And I'm sure that's what they're doing. It's not like they've gone all zone or away from man coverage totally. You can't do that. But they with Stafford is one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in the National Football League. Maybe has the best arm, or if not the best, certainly right up there in the first with the first 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the league as far as arm strength, zip on the ball, getting rid of the ball, all that arm talent. So yeah, they could win it. I've got to take, on this, I've got to take, as much as I'd like to see New Orleans, we're all pulling for New Orleans. But I really think I would have to take the 4 points. 4 points is a lot in a game like this. I think I'd have to take Detroit and the 4 points.
Yeah, that's understandable. And look, the Saints just they got a little bit back to normal last week against Green Bay, but still, just this is a team that's out of sorts right now. I think they'll figure it out. They're too good to figure it out. At 4 points is a lot, and I think this would be probably a 3-point game. I'm going to pick the Saints, but I don't think it's going to be 4 points. So moving on here, not a whole lot to say about this game, I don't believe, Coach. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but even the Seattle Seahawks traveling down to Miami to take on the Dolphins, Russell Wilson's looked fantastic. He is carrying that team. Look, they're running the football fairly well. The defense for the Seahawks has got to get better. I mean, if you want to be a serious contender, that defense has got to get better. But look, DK Metcalf looks fantastic. The only thing I can say is Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's played well. I mean, he's played as well as you expect him to play at this point. I think for Miami fans, they're just kind of awaiting Tua's arrival. And but for Miami, Mike Gesicki at tight ends, a fantastic receiver. Myles Gaskin running the football. There's been some bright spots to this Miami Dolphins team, but once again, Ryan Fitzpatrick, I don't see him pulling this upset, Coach, and I see the Seahawks running away with it. No surprise, they're a 6.5-point favorite.
Yeah, and I think most people feel that way about the ball game. But keep in mind now, there's something you need to consider in a ball game like this. Remember last year when Miami got on a roll, they got hot. And at one point late in the season, they were as hot as anybody. Like they rolled off like 6 straight wins or something. Fitzpatrick is hot right now. Miami's hot. Do they start that streak? They're playing at home. Seattle has a terrible defense. I don't think this is going to be an easy run for Seattle. I think Miami could. I don't think Miami is capable of beating them right now, but they certainly could make it a very, very tight, tough ball game for Seattle. So I look for this to be a little closer. This may be one upset that I would take with those points. 6 points, a lot of points, especially at home with Miami.
One thing to keep for those that, when you're talking about the 6.5-point favorite, it is supposed to be thunderstorms and 88 degrees down there in Miami. So, hey, who knows? I mean, this is, like you said, wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins upset them. This is a team, you're right. Once they get hot, and they don't know no better. That's pretty much what it is. So, moving on here, Coach, the Tampa Bay Bucks at home against the, L.A. Chargers. Justin Herbert being the quarterback there. Look, he's looked good. This Chargers team is 1-2, but the Bucks are looking a lot better. They're starting to catch their stride a little bit, figure things out. The defense is starting to come together. This team for the Bucks, it seems like the sky is the limit here. Now, I'm not jumping too far ahead here, but once again, we talked about this team being able to see progression week to week to week. Now, they may be without Chris Godwin and Leonard Fournette, but I think, with Mike Evans and Scotty Miller and these other guys, Tom Brady, look, it doesn't matter. He has weapons. He has Gronk out there. I mean, So I think they're going to be okay regardless. Coach, any reason to believe? Now, Tampa's a 7-point favorite. That's a lot of points. Any reason to believe that the Bucs lose this game or don't cover?
Well, 7 points is a lot of points, an awful lot of points. The game is in Tampa, right?
Correct.
I like the Bucs. I think they're going to take another step toward being the type of football team that could win it all this week. They've got another 4 to 5 games to go before they get to, before they get to what we would look at as mid-season form. And maybe more than that. It may be right, the end of the year before they really hit their peak. But I don't think they're there yet, but they're taking steps forward like we thought they would. And I think they take another step. I think they win this ball game. It's going to be tight giving up 7 points, but I'm going to take the Bucs and give the 7.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, at this point, and once again, Justin Herbert, the Chargers have looked good, but you're talking about a Bucs team that looks like they're starting to catch their win or their stride here. So moving on here, Coach, maybe not a whole lot to say about this game. The Baltimore Ravens, they got embarrassed. And you know what? And no better way to get embarrassed on national television, turn right around and get to play the Washington football team, who is playing without Chase Young. Now, that defense is a good defense. Offensively, I don't think they're going to be able to hang here. Dwayne Haskins, don't think he's going to get it done outside of that. Baltimore's a 12.5-point favorite. That's a lot of points, Coach. Now, look, I don't know. Like I said, the Ravens can go out and score in bunches. 12.5 just seems a bit much. But once again, Washington struggles to score sometimes. But, Coach, I'd have to give it to the defense of the Washington football team. I think maybe 10 points or so. 12.5 seems like a lot.
Well, no, like you said, there's not much to say on this. I think Baltimore tunes it up this week. It's an ideal team to do it against. And I would have to take Baltimore and give the points. You're right, a lot of points, but I think they run over them like a Ford over a rooster.
Oh, that's a good one. Ford, Coach, you caught me off guard with that one. You know what? This is you're talking about a team that's looking for revenge and saying, "Hey, wait a minute, we're still really good," and that's why it's perfect timing to play the football team. But one more game before we go to break here, Coach. The Cardinals and the Panthers. Now, DeAndre Hopkins has not practiced this week. They may be without him. I don't think it really matters too much with that offense. I know that they lost to Detroit last week. Panthers, not a very good defense. They can score some points. Now, Arizona's a 3.5-point favorite on the road. Matt Rule finally got his first win. Teddy Bridgewater's looked good. But I think too much talent, and the defense is improving for the Cardinals. That's something I didn't know that I would be saying so soon. Coach, it's a close game, but I'm going with the Cardinals in this one.
Yeah, I am too. And again, there's not too much to say. I think it's to me, this is a fairly easy pick. So I'm going to go with the Cardinals as well.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, when we come back from a break here, we're going to talk the remaining games here coming up in Week 4, giving you the breakdown as we always do on Thursday. And tomorrow we will do it for college football as well. And by the way, reposted this about an hour ago on our ESPN Pensacola Facebook page for our Talk Football with Coach K college picks and NFL picks. We picked 10 best games, or 10 games in the NFL and college. Sometimes we make it tough on you. Some of those games you may not know a whole lot about. You go on there, look, the rules, it's on our ESPN Pensacola Facebook page. Make your picks. Text them 850-623-1330. That's our text line here. We'll get it, hold it, and once the games are over, whoever won the most, boom, you get a prize, and those prizes are a $20 gift card to Hot Spot Barbecue, as well as free range time from our great sponsor, Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Tom and the guys, chance, they'll take care of you. Just let them know we sent you. But, hey, you got a chance. All you got to do is just make your picks. I mean, when you do this on ESPN.com before, you do it all the time. It's free. It doesn't take but a second. Go on there and do it, and we'll have it for you. And, hey, you can win some prizes. So, with that being said, when we come back, we're going to continue our picks in Week 4 in the NFL right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text. Stop the wrecks.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck, Bentley. That was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
Hi, I'm Technical Sergeant Nolan Bang, one of your active duty Air Force recruiters. The Air Force is a great way to jumpstart your future career. Let us provide you with a technical trade, pay for the degree you want, and give you some job security with a locked-in paycheck. You will get all this while having the ability to travel. We're currently looking to hire aircraft mechanics, linguists, and other career fields. For more information, please visit us at airforce.com, download the AIM High app, or give me a call at 334-451-4177. Thank you.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL head coach Kay Stevenson on this Thursday afternoon. We've been breaking down week 4 in the NFL. Obviously, we have the game tonight between the Denver Broncos and the New York Jets. Not the greatest matchup, but it's football nonetheless. And we'll break down college football tomorrow. So getting you ready for the week ahead of football. Man, the weekend's almost here. And look, we got high school football that we'll talk about tomorrow as well. A full slate of games as we get it rolling here. Coach, jumping back into this, the Vikings taking on the Texans, two teams that, well, doesn't maybe surprise you. One is 0-3, but the Vikings being 0-3. Now, I said it before, they were my team to win that division. I picked my dark horse team, however you want to call it. But Houston's a 4.5-point favorite. Coach, not a whole lot to say about this other than that I think the Vikings get back on track. We saw that against the Titans last week. The offense started to click. The defense still got some problems, but Justin Jefferson, goodness gracious for the Vikings, just going off. Dalvin Cook at the running back position. Kirk Cousins looked good. Look, for Deshaun Watson and squad, hasn't been anything like what Bill O'Brien, I guess, thought it was going to be. The trade has not worked out. So give me the Vikings, Coach. Look, the Vikings are a 4.5-point underdog, but I'm going to take them to win the game straight up.
Yeah, there's not much to discuss here on my part. I like the Vikings as well. They certainly have not lived up to what was expected of them, but they win this ball. They start to come back, and they win this ball game. I think win it substantially.
The New York Giants, it kind of, I guess, as things have gone a little bit. Saquon's gone down, so the offense is gone at this point. You know what? Just bad, all around bad. But it is what it is. The LA Rams host the New York Giants right here. Now, the Rams are a 12-point favorite, and we talked about that being a lot of points. Look, the Rams have looked good. Offensive line, Jared Goff looked good. The running game has looked good. Cooper Kupp, all those guys, everything. You talk about Aaron Donald on the defensive line. Coach, it looks like they're really the Rams team of a couple years ago. So even though it's 12 points, I'm going to take the Rams and the points.
I agree. I totally agree. It's amazing. The city of New York, to have two football teams is inadequate, as they have the Giants and the Jets. This is unusual, and certainly not going down very well in New York. But, no, I think the Rams cover substantially in this ball game.
Very intriguing game in Kansas City. Now, Kansas City is a 7-point favorite coming off that dominating win of the Baltimore Ravens, hosting the New England Patriots. Cam Newton at quarterback now, Bill Belichick. Look, this is what I'll say on this game. I think this game is going to be a very close game, and the reason being Belichick drafted a defense. He drafted a lot of defensive players this offseason to be able to combat guys like Patrick Mahomes. Problem is Patrick Mahomes is a very talented quarterback, but on the other end, Bill Belichick, this is not his first rodeo. So when you look at it, Coach, I think they can control the clock a little bit. If they can control the clock with the running game and everything going on there, this is a little bit lower scoring game, and I think if they can get a couple takeaways. And look, Belichick's good at games like this. You know what, 7 points is a lot to me. I'm going to have to pick the Chiefs, but I think it's closer than that.
You know, I may be wrong, but I thought this ball game was in New England, not Kansas City. I think it's in New England.
It's in Kansas City and Arrowhead.
It is Arrowhead. Okay, I'm wrong, but well, that's an advantage for Kansas City. I was thinking that might be an advantage for New England, but I know 7 points is too much to give up in a game against Belichick. I think I would take New England and 7 points. I think it's going to be a fairly close ball game, in fact, and two good football teams, no doubt about that.
Yeah, going to be a lot of fun no matter what. A lot of excitement there. The Bills and the Raiders, Coach. Look, for the Raiders, they're 2-1, but they're kind of pretending, if you ask me. I mean, they're a little bit better than what they were last year, but pretenders at this point. The Bills look good. Josh Allen, like I said, I've been wrong. Young man's come out here, throw for over 1,000 yards, throwing it all over the yard. This team looks good. The defense looks good enough right now to win. It's going to be exciting to watch them in the Patriots matchup this year. But, Coach, I think, look, the Bills are a 3-point favorite. I know it's in L.A. or well, not L.A., Las Vegas at the new stadium there. But I'm going to take the Bills and the points here.
Yeah, I, too, am mistaken. I've been somewhat mistaken on Josh Allen. I knew he had a lot of talent, but it was just a wild hair. You know, he really didn't have a lot of accuracy. In fact, his accuracy was terrible, but he has improved considerably. I'd like to know what they did. They did some things with him in the off season. There's no doubt in my mind about that. There are things that even with these big simulators now that they have, where you virtually play a game and the simulator. But they did something with him to help him, and their receivers are playing extremely well. Their defense is pretty much as good as anybody in the league. Yeah, I got to take Buffalo here.
Yeah, Josh Allen reminded me last year of a bucking bronco. You know, sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not. He gets wild, and then you don't know what's going to happen. But he's changed. It definitely changed this year. But, Coach, final game here with about a minute left. The Eagles and the 49ers, obviously the Eagles 0-2-1. They've been struggling. They're also still dealing with injuries going on. Carson Wentz is trying to hang on, trying to do a little too much, but you can't blame him. And Miles Sanders has looked good for him. But, Coach, I think the 49ers, look, even if Nick Mullins is still back out there at quarterback, this is a team that's proven they're just too deep of a roster. San Francisco's a 7-point favorite, and it's tough, 7 points when you got Nick Mullins and guys back there. I'm going to take San Francisco to win the game, but maybe a little bit closer than what we think.
I think that's a good assessment. I think you've got to take the 49ers right now. They're playing well despite all the injuries, and Philadelphia's had a number of injuries too. So we're talking about the two most injured teams in the league playing each other, but it's going to be in San Francisco. San Francisco's playing well. Philadelphia's having trouble. So you got to go with the 49ers here.
And if you're an Eagles fan, once again, if you do lose this game, you're still not out of the division. You need to get healthy. That's the biggest thing at this point. The Eagles are not as bad as they're looking. It's just they've got so many injuries. And we talked about this last year with them. But, hey, things can get better. But, hey, if you can pull an upset win here, that will be tremendous in that division moving forward. But, Coach, it sounds, as usual, means it's time for us to go. You know what? We didn't get to everything, but you know what? We're going to be breaking down college football tomorrow. But it's been an absolute pleasure, Coach.
You bet. Enjoyed it. Look forward to tomorrow.
Absolutely appreciate it, Coach, and appreciate our listeners out there as well. Like I said, we'll be back same time tomorrow talking some football with you right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Pensacola's home for hometown sports. Your home to talk football with Coach K. Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante and Sports Call with Davis Allen. If you'd like to partner with ESPN Pensacola or become a sponsor, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEVY, Milton, Pensacola.
This is the Max Kellerman Show. Max Kellerman Show on ESPN Radio.
Sup, nerds? It's the Max Kellerman Show on ESPN Radio, ESPN News, the ESPN app, and SiriusXM Channel 80, and on your smart speaker. Reach me at 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. The Max Kellerman Show is presented by Progressive Insurance. But first, it's time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Raj thinks I'm going to talk about the Lakers and the Heat. Let me give you a little real straight talk. I'm exhausted. I am exhausted right now. I did not get a lot of sleep last night. And when I was a kid, I used to hear local sports pundits in New York. They would complain in the tabloids. They'd be on local sports talk shows about how late the games are on. And I was a kid at that time thinking, shut up. No one cares about your schedule. Stop complaining so you don't sleep so much that night. I loved it. Sports could go on all night when I was younger, as far as I was concerned. I used to get out. I didn't get to watch a lot of TV at times, but I could always watch. No, it's not even true. I could always listen to at least sports on the radio. This is how strict my mother was at a certain point.